So I'm just gonna cut like, I think 6 or 8 decals real quick. Give you guys a little, not even a tutorial, but just show you guys what I gotta do when I actually cut these decals and everything. I'll make it like a 10-minute video, whatever, but this is just a process of everything. You know, first and foremost, everything is vectorized in a vector file. These are the decals I decided on. So 2, 4, 6, 7 decals. So I already vectorized them. Now I'm gonna send them to my plotter. My plotter is gonna cut them, and then I'm gonna pull them from the plotter and then weed them, pre-mask, etc. So try to knock this all out in about 10-15 minutes. We'll see what happens though. So pardon the noise, you know, I got it on a tripod, so I'm just trying to work it. So material width, output, bam, let it run. And while that's running, I'm just gonna get my my weeding station prepped, so pay no mind to me. Crazy how this machine just knows how to do all this. Yep, beautiful. Should be right on the last one, I think. And I did it perfect. So long as that last one catches, I can't guarantee that. Actually, no, we'll see. So the hardest part about this plotter, by the way, I'm using a GCC Jaguar. The hardest part about this plotter for me was just getting everything dialed in. It took me like 2 or 3 days to get everything set up and whatnot. And prior to this plotter, I was using a US Cutter MH 740, I think is what it was, or something like that. And it wasn't a bad plotter. I mean, to be completely honest, it was a huge step up from that the Cricket I was using. So, but comparatively, if that's even a word, to this plotter, or compared to this plotter, there's no contest. I mean, this thing is just on a whole nother level. Speed-wise, precision-wise. I used to worry about little ears on all my cuts. With my US Cutter, I haven't seen it do that one time, not even once. So that is huge for me in terms of reliability and precision and just cleanness and clarity of the cut. So, all right, this is finished. Did it perfect. Let's just box it out and then boom. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll the spool just past this indentation line, and you'll see why in a second. It just makes my cut so much easier. So we'll spool it out. Boom. Oh, you can go just a hair more. What's an extra couple centimeters? Boom. Ah, nice and perfect cut. every time. And then I'm going to just roll this here back, get it prepped for the next cut. And right about there. That'll do it. Smooth this out just a hair. Okay. Now that we're done with the cutting, let's go into the actual weeding of the product. So this is honestly my least favorite part. I am not a fan of weeding, but it's it's one of the necessary steps in the process, so you definitely can't overlook it. I'm just trying to get a good angle for you guys to where you see me weeding it. Okay. Alright. That should work. That's my other plotter. I got twin plotters. I got two. So, alright, now we're going to weed it. So weeding essentially is just taking the excess vinyl out and showing your actual finished image. So what I'll do is I will just weed all this excess BS out real quick on the sides. I don't like working with anything extra. I feel like when you don't do that, you run into problems, and the reason I say you run into problems is because sometimes you'll go to pull that piece off or whatever, and it will catch, and it will pull, lettering or whatever you're plotting. It will pull it up, and then you just ruin your whole cut. So, not something I want to do, nor something I enjoy doing. So, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to try to do this fairly quick, but you know how it is. So, okay, that did not cut all the way to the top. Awesome. Little shit like this always just makes things so complicated. Luckily, I've been doing this for a little while, a couple of years. So, fairly versed in the troubleshooting of everything and whatnot. Normal people would have just got rid of this piece, but not normal, obviously. Okay. Nice cut. Boom. There we go. Now we're moving. Okay. Now all these images I pulled, they're not going to be like perfect cuts because I just did a contour trace in my program. Normally what I would do was I would bring them into Illustrator and then I would redo them in Illustrator, and the reason I would redo them in Illustrator is because you get the most clean cut when your images are retraced, and actually your images at that point. And I say your images because once you retrace them, nobody can tell you shit. So, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna breeze through this, so just bear with me. Okay, let's go. Pulling my shit up. Oh man. Yeah, I've been doing this for a couple of years on and off. I was doing it from like 2008 until 2014-ish, maybe even 15. I worked for a bigger company that did all of the vinyl graphics for Toys R Us, Babies R Us, Sports Authority, Bye Bye Baby. A lot of the heavy hitters in the child and toy industry back in the day anyway. And I ended up getting out of it because I needed a career change. I was just traveling too much, very seldomly was I at home for more than like 3-4 days at a time before I was back on the road, and it just wasn't fun for me. So then I got into working with explosives, and I did that for about 4 years, 5 years almost. And after a system discharged on me and I almost blew my hand off, could have been worse actually. I mean, I don't know the ramifications of what could have happened, but saying I could have blown a hand off is probably an under exaggeration. But anyways, yeah, I almost blew a hand off, and so I decided I want to re-pursue something in which I was not only good at, but it's very lucrative and profitable. And it brought me back to the decals, graphics, and apparel. Now, the company I worked for didn't do any apparel at all, which honestly shocks me. They could have made a killing doing that, especially the scale in which they were moving product. It would have been insanity, but you know, they only did signage. So I have a very good background in the vinyl, working with vinyl and laying vinyl. So that's how this all came to fruition. Now, getting close to done here. Very important when you're weeding vinyl is you have a area that is very well lit, and the reason I say that is because sometimes you'll get little stragglers and stuff, and when you get these little stragglers, it is really tough sometimes to see exactly where you got to weed it at. You know, it definitely makes it tough. So here's that. How the fuck did that go? So anyhow, bam, perfect. And I'm gonna just do the interior of this here Michigan decal. Of course, I'm going to do a Michigan decal. I'm a U of M fan, lifelong. I've been a U of M fan since before I was even born. It was like bred into it. Old man is the biggest U of M fan. Watching before Schembeckler. So, okay, well, that is part number 3 actually, because part 1 is actually getting the images, rendering them, and you know, making sure your art is right. Second part obviously is cutting them. Third is weeding. Now you see all these bad boys. They're all weeded. Okay. Now we're gonna go for the last part. I'm not gonna use my big roll on this. It's kind of pain in the ass, so I'm just gonna grab my micro roll. My small roll of this stuff is a material called Nakusa. To be completely honest, I am not a fan of it. It does not stick very well. It's not tagged very well either, but it's my small roll. And it works. It does work. So I cannot take that away from it. So, right, grab this here. Now the way I usually do it is a little different than I'm going to do it now. I don't have pinch rollers, so I do it all by hand. So this is what I'm going to do. All right, just going to go like this. Okay, make sure it's flat. Always all the way through on your stroke. Always all the way through. Otherwise you'll trap air bubbles and you will mess it up. You don't ever want to trap air bubbles on vinyl or the pre-tech. So, okay, let's do this. Step it out. So it was trash anyway. Okay. All right. Gank yanked my good pair of shears. I'm kind of pissed about that. But these work for now. Okay. Okay. And boom. Like so. This excess off the top. Couple right down the center. And boom. There it is. Now, real quick. Alright, so that pretty much does it. Show you guys the finished products. Just lay them out for you. Okay. Oh. Look at those. So that is how you plot, cut, weed, and pre-mask vinyl. My name is Matthew J. Sarhan. I am the CEO of iRock City Customs. I appreciate you guys checking everything out. You guys have a blessed day.